Hey, hello everyone, and welcome to Microsoft Build, and specifically to this Ask the Expert session that we have for you on the topic building apps across meetings, chats, and channels within or outside Microsoft Teams. Yep. So the first things first, let me just walk you through some of the code of conduct guidelines. Yeah. Before that, we have Vikramjeet joining from Microsoft Teams platform, who's the program manager working there. Vikramjeet, would you like to introduce yourself quickly?
Thank you, Shubham. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much. I work on the Teams platform, specifically focus on Teams mobile clients. So everything related to tabs, canvas areas, meetings, native device capabilities, and I'll also try and pitch in if you have questions around adaptive cards and message extensions. Please keep the questions flowing in the chat and we'll get to them as soon as possible. Thank you so much for joining us today. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Shubham.
Yep. Thanks, Vikramjeet. I'm also a program manager working on certain capabilities in Teams platform, and I'm glad to inform that there are a lot more subject matter experts who are also along with us, representing different capabilities, extensibility touch points from the Teams platform. So feel free to post any question you have around developing an app on top of Teams, be it around any of the extensibility services. Yep. Moving on. So we have the event code of conduct. I would appreciate if everyone just follows the same. You'll have it shared on the screen, so we'll just move on to the next slide. Yep, a quick info on how you should engage in this session. So we have the chat box for you to ask any questions. So feel free to ask any questions. How we pick up the questions is that folks on the call, the attendees would be upvoting the best questions, and we'll do our best to answer the most popular questions first. Questions will only appear once they are approved by the team, and you can post anonymously or even use your name. We'd appreciate if you use your name, so it's better for us to call you out. And experts will be answering the questions verbally for this session. Yep, I hope everyone understands this, and yep, let's keep the questions flowing in. Yep, a few things on the etiquette. The session is being recorded. Please don't record the sessions on your own since it's already being recorded. And please help our moderators who will be monitoring the chat for on any questions. And please don't spam the chat. So that would be really helpful. Thanks. Yep, moving on to the next slide. Just a brief summary of the topics from which we have representation for this particular session. Yeah, you can just go through it. I wouldn't take your time going through all of these. So feel free to ask questions, especially on these topics. But even if there's something you want to ask which is not listed here, don't mind and just ask away. We'll try our best to have the top most voted questions answered in this session. Yep. Great. Let me see if we have some questions coming in already. Yep, Vikramjeet, if you see anything, feel free to pitch in. No issues. Okay, yeah. So I already see there are a couple of questions which have been published. Okay, so I'll just skip the lengthy one for now because I'll have to go through it. I'll go through it in the background. So I'll take a question coming from John. The question is there any design guideline available for developers to follow when building apps for Teams platform? Yep. So building apps for Teams platform, Vikramjeet, would you want to take this question?
Yes, I can take that. So this is so I think someone has shared from our moderator team the link that is going to be the go-to link for design. We have a great set of guidelines available along with a Figma UI toolkit, which your designers can actually use and take and create the designs for your own app. And those toolkits will have everything starting from personal apps, tabs, adaptive cards, task modules, even designs that will be responsive on mobile, as well as there's a new UI controls that we've been building on Fluent UI. The UI toolkit has the equivalent of those controls available in the Figma toolkit, and there's tons of other guidelines.
Yep, I think we lost Vikramjeet in between. I see Vikrant turning on his camera. So Vikrant, might you want to add here? Yeah.
Yeah, so let me continue till Vikram joins. As Vikram was mentioning, there are a couple of things which we have done on Teams platform. First one is to start from the Teams platform documentation. That is your go-to guide to get started with it. And then depends on the multiple constructs which we support on platform, be it your HTML canvas-based tabs, personal app, or you're building a bot. So there are specific guidelines. It depends on what you want to build, right? So first of all, understand what is your use case, whether you are going to target the conversational flows or a canvas-based flows, right? Once you have defined that, you need to identify there are specific templates also which we provide from Teams platform, which is available both in the Teams platform documentation as well as in GitHub. You could look at some of those platform specific templates and see which of these are gonna like fitting your use case, what you're trying to achieve. It has a bunch of combination of both personal as well as the conversational flows. And as Vikram was mentioning, once you identified the template, there are a bunch of UI design patterns which you are publishing to make sure at least your design or application works seamlessly across both desktop and mobile. And that's where we have given a set of recommendations also. So go through that, understand which UI pattern fits well depending upon your use case, and make sure at least you test it out completely. Once you have done it, then there are specific templates which you specify for App Store submission. Make sure at least you test out your app thoroughly across desktop and mobile, and then go through the store guideline process. There is a well-documented store guideline process which talks about your security concerns, what is well-behaved application, what should be your endpoint URL, all of those. Go through that. Once you have gone through the submission process, then I think you could take your app forward and publish it to the Teams catalog submission process, and our Teams QA team will kind of go through your app, and then we'll get back to you if there are any concerns with it. So that's a high level of 4-step lifecycle process of how do you approach building an app on Teams. Any specific question on deep dive, I will let Vikram, since he is back, to take that up further.
I think Vikrant covered it all. Thanks, Vikrant. I'm sorry, guys, I'm having a bad network.
Yep, no issues. I think we answered the question pretty well. Yep, so moving on to the next question that we have in the chat window. It's around apps in Teams meeting. So, yep, the question is, when's the when our apps in Teams meetings are going live for developers? Vikramjeet, would you like to take this up as well?
Yeah, thanks, Shubham. Happy to announce that we will soon be announcing the support for apps in Teams meetings on mobile as well. That should be coming in the right after build. You will soon be able to sort of interact with the content bubbles within your mobile stage, as well as access the side panel within mobile, as well as your tablet screens. So there'll be a blog post coming out soon from Microsoft. So please stay tuned in. The announcement will be coming in soon, and you'll get apps and Teams meetings on mobile within the next 1 month.
Yep. Thanks, Vikramjeet, for a quick answer to that. Moving on to the next question we have coming in from Sachin. The question is, I already have configurable tabs for group chats and channels. What changes do I need to make to my app for it to be available for meetings as well? So it's a question on, again, apps for Teams meetings. We already have a reply on it by Visku. So Vikramjeet, if you want to take this up as well, again, it's kind of the same domain, but you can point to someone else if, yeah, for your wish. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think the reply sort of handles the answer very well. The change that needs to be made is in the manifest file itself. There's a new property called context that needs to be added to the configurable tab section of your manifest. As soon as you've done that, your app will be available. There are a list of the list of values for that context value that are already available in the documentation, and the link has already been provided. So please have a look at the link, and it should be fairly straightforward.
Great. Thanks for answering that, Vikramjeet. Moving on to the next question, which we have on adaptive cards. So we have a bunch of questions around adaptive cards. So let me pick one of them. So the question is coming from Pedro, which is, when is a more robust support for adaptive cards coming to Teams? At the moment, Teams does not even support the required attribute, and filling in multi-line fields is a pain. Yeah, I think I relate to that as well. So for adaptive cards, Shiladitya, maybe you can take this up.
Yeah, sure, Shubham. Yeah, so I see a bunch of adaptive card questions. I'll try to address all of them right now. So from adaptive cards, starting with what are adaptive cards, I think there's a link that's already been shared. You can refer to them. It's in a brief introduction, adaptive cards are like they are snippets of UI. They are JSON payloads which you can share across applications, and they blend beautifully and natively with any application. So that's a quick introduction of adaptive cards. You may have seen them on Outlook. You may have seen them on Teams. They are used for multiple scenarios, like sharing polls, like sharing updates, or sending actionable messages on Outlook when you get SharePoint notifications. So those are some of the scenarios that you may have seen adaptive cards in. They're used for approvals across companies and various other flows, sending notifications, etc. Next, I want to go into the next question. What are the new capabilities that are coming in for adaptive cards? So there are a couple of things that we are going to be announcing right now at Build as well. That is starting from the universal actions capabilities that was announced yesterday. So the universal actions capabilities will have a bunch of features within it, and you'll be able to see like there's a detailed session coming in later tonight or tomorrow as well. There's a repeat session for that, which is combined with graph connectors. So that's BRK242. Do attend that. And there will be taking all universal actions capabilities, which is sending the same card to Teams and Outlook, sending sending user-specific views of adaptive cards on Teams. So particular users can see a particular view. Only the approver can see the approve or reject button, while other people in the chat or channel can see only the view details or such a button, like a cancel button. So that's how user-specific views work. The sequential workflow support, so you can go through one card, like you can keep going through one card and complete a workflow instead of having to send separate cards within the chat. Apart from that, there's a refresh property coming in. So with that, you can enable up-to-date views of adaptive cards as well. So that's a bunch of things coming in. There's going to be a coding sample in the BRK243 session, and please do run through that. There's also a product board that has been shared in the link. So please go through that. That has the adaptive card roadmap and what all features are being worked on and will be picked up. There is also another one on input validation. So input validation is in developer preview right now. You can try it out in pop-out chats and mobile. It is soon going to be rolling out to channels as well. So just hold on for that one. And we're going to do that announcement as well pretty soon. So hold on to your seats. Yep, I think that covers the first set of questions I see on adaptive cards. Maybe I can take more in the next set. Shubham?
Yep, that was quite an elaborate answer. Thanks for answering that, Shiladitya. I think we covered a couple of questions. One I see from Vivek on what are adaptive cards, one I see from Ravi on the new capabilities, and again, the one which we started with, which is coming from Pedro. Yep, so any other questions on adaptive cards, please keep them coming. We'll move to another question that I see in the Q&A section here, coming from Jason. The question is, I work for a global company, and as far as I know, the tenant is controlled from Germany. What would be the best way to try and get a Teams app published? I don't have any yet, but have a few ideas. I already see the response from Alok. So Alok, would you like to take this up?
Yeah, thanks, Shubham. So hey, Jason. So there are multiple ways in which we can achieve this, and depending upon the audience for the app that you have in mind, there are multiple options. So if so, from the Teams client itself, there is a way in which you can sideload an application for your team or for a group of people. If you want to, let's say, keep this application available only to your team or set of people that you know who will be using it, you can always sideload the app to a particular team, particular channel, and distribute it. But the another question that you have is, hey, this application may be relevant for everyone in the organization. In that case, there are two ways you can achieve it. One is via the Visual Studio extension that we have for Teams developer, where you can directly from the Visual Studio extension itself, you can directly submit the app for the LOB app catalog or for the organization app catalog for admin to approve. But let's say if you're not using Visual Studio extension, you can actually go to the Teams desktop application where there's a option of upload or submit an app to your IT admin, and you can submit your app, and IT admin can get a request of this app in their Teams admin center, where they can approve, they can deny, they can follow up with you for more details. And in the Teams client, you can always check the status of the app, and once the app is approved by the IT admin, it will start appearing in the organization catalog for everyone in the organization. So these are the two ways in which kind of you can actually enable app for your organization, and depending upon the audiences you're looking at, there are multiple ways. So if it is within the known audience, I think you can sideload the app and distribute via Teams. But if you want to make it available for the whole org, then submit your app from the desktop client for IT admin to approve. And once it is approved, it will be available for everyone.
Yep. Thanks, Alok, for answering this question. Yeah, I think that answers it pretty well. Moving on to the next question I see, which is liked a lot. It's on closed caption feature. So it's an anonymous question coming from I don't know whom, but the question reads like, I really like the closed caption feature of meetings or broadcasts. Is there a way for developers in Teams to capture or process real-time audio during a meeting to develop a custom solution using audio? For example, expanded language support for closed captions translation. So I already see one of the moderators has responded to this query. But yeah, I'd just like to briefly summarize that. They recently in this Teams in this build itself, we announced that media APIs are going to be available from this summer, and using that you'll be able to utilize Teams meeting media APIs, which provide real-time access to audio and video streams to build scenarios like transcription and translation. In case there's someone else who want to add anything to it, we are open. But yeah, just pitch in. I think we have it well covered. Cool. So moving on to the next question. Again, I see a lot of questions coming from the area of developing apps for Teams meetings. One question I see from Haim is, what are the limitations of guest users interacting with an app in a Teams meeting? Again, Vikramjeet, would you like to take this up, maybe?
Thanks, Shubham. I can, but would Shobik or Joshi on the call, do you want to take it up from a developer perspective, or I can then chime in from the expected behavior as well?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I can take that up. So for the anonymous user support of the in-meeting constructs like the in-meeting panel or the in-meeting bubbles, they are not available for anonymous users right now. We are building the support for these, and whenever the API is available, whenever the API is available for the 3P apps, this thing can be released. As of now, we do not have anonymous user support for apps in meetings.
Okay. Great. Is there anything we might want to add there, Shobhik, or Joshi, or Vikramjeet? Yeah, Vikramjeet.
I think Joshi covered it well.
Okay. Great. So let me find the next question then. Yep. I think we have another question coming in around adaptive cards. It's again, I think, coming from Pedro. The question is, in the link to the roadmap that was sent here in Q&A related to adaptive cards, adaptive cards.io already offers some capabilities that are still not available on Teams. So are we looking for having this parity between what adaptive cards IO already has versus what are the capabilities we are currently building or have already released, or maybe it's in the roadmap? So what's the story like here? So maybe Shiladitya, again, since it's from adaptive cards, it would be good if you can take this up.
Yep. Thanks, Shobhik. Yeah, Pedro, that is the plan. We want to align on the adaptive cards IO roadmap that you see. That is the plan that all platforms will soon align on this, and we will have absolute parity on all of them. So the SDK updates will happen more frequently, and that's how like all of the platforms will try to maintain parity right now. We are driving towards that. It will be coming soon. Right now, the features that we've announced for Teams, those are like going to be available. You're going to see a bunch of blog posts as well after right after build, and that will have the list of items that were shared. Another thing like that I want to add around features, you'll also see a bunch of these coming in around People Picker, and a lot of these were shared in the previous session as well. So please keep following, and you'll get more details.
Thanks, Shiladitya, for the quick answer. Another one I see on adaptive cards, adaptive cards based apps. I think it just got scrolled down. Let me just scroll up. Yep. So the question is coming from Rishabh. The question is, what changes do I need to make in my existing bots to build adaptive card based tabs? Vikramjeet, if you are okay with taking this up.
Yeah, I can take.
Okay, that's great.
Awesome. Just for context, adaptive card-based tabs are a new set of capabilities that we've announced in build itself, on which users can actually make channel tabs, which are personal tabs, which are based on the bot infrastructure. So invoke new, we're sort of releasing new set of invoke calls around tab submit, tab fetch, bunch of others that we'll sort of also release the documentation for. And what you need to do to support these is that understand the new invoke calls that we have released, and then set up your tab to support those invoke calls. So for example, one of the invoke calls is tab fetch, in which when the bot receives the invoke for tab fetch, they have to respond with a set of adaptive cards that the client, which is either desktop or your Teams mobile clients, can render, and which can have 1, 2, or 3 or multiple adaptive cards, and the adaptive cards in themselves can have multiple components. We, as part of the new invoke calls, we're also introducing the ability to invoke a task module, submit a particular action, and we also have a rich roadmap that we're going to talk about as we sort of release this feature. So TLDR, look out for the new invoke options that we're releasing for adaptive card-based tabs, and then make sure that your bot is set up to handle those invoke calls. That's it, Shubham.
Great. Thanks, Vikramjeet. We have 5 minutes left, so I'll just pick up 1 or 2 more questions, and then we can wrap up the session for now. Next question I see is coming from Andreas. The question is there any changes in the way Teams uses video audio encoding? For example, I would like to build a band rehearsal app, but I need low latency audio and video sync. Yeah. Maybe Kaushik, if you'd like to take this up.
Hi, sure. Andreas, this is a great question, and we are really delighted to know that type of use cases that are coming in the Teams platform. So for good news for you that we are actually exposing video APIs through our JS SDK, which will kind of take the power of Lens SDK, where you can actually use various bit rates and other to optimize your video capture and all, right? So you'll just wait for a couple of months. In the coming quarter, you'll see that audio and video capture APIs are available in the mobile Teams platform. Now, answering to a specific use case, which is very interesting for us, that let's say you have a band and you have a remote band. Can you have one application where all the folks who are kind of playing, let's say, different instruments are exactly synced or not, right? We are already aware of this problem. At this point of time, we are doing a lot of research in our side, and we can see that how perfectly we can sync up with various instruments and the vocal singers with each other. We are working on a problem, but good news for you that these APIs are coming up in coming quarter. You should definitely get a try. At the same point of time, this fine-grained optimization that our team is already aware of, and they are working closely to that. So yeah, stay tuned with our upgrades and announcements around this. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Kaushik, for the great answer. I think we have time left to just take up one more question. Yep, so let me just pick one question that's that has the most votes on. So there's one question coming on app templates. I'll just pick it up on random. I don't have any vertical criteria. The question is anonymously coming. The question is, are there any apps or app templates that can push notifications to users? Or any recommendations on which of the available app templates can be customized to offer this capability outside the CC bot? My understanding is this is the activity feed notification in Teams that the person is asking about. Yep. So for activity feed, do we have anyone who can take this up?
Vikram will be there.
I can take
Okay,
it up.
Vikramjeet. Yep. Thanks.
Awesome. Yeah. So this is something that we're looking at very closely, and it should come up for very soon for all our third-party developers. You would soon have a graph notification, graph-based API available from which apps can send notifications. Till that is available, you can use a notification-only bot, which is what CC also uses. So you can have a bot which sort of sends out notifications to your users, and the users can't really interact with it, but that will help with the basic problem over here. But stay tuned for our plan, and stay tuned for our announcement on opening up the graph APIs for other developers as well.
Yeah, to add to that, I think there is also a template for coworker appreciation, which kind of simulates some part of notification. So if someone wants to look at the template app, that should be the one to review once. Yeah, but I think more on the roadmap, as Vikram mentioned.
Yep, I think that answers the question well. Thanks, Vikramjeet and Vikrant for pitching in. Yeah, folks, so I think we have reached the end of the session. It's just 1 minute left. So I'll just wrap it up quickly. Shreya, if you can move to the next slide. Yep, so please do check out all the Microsoft 365 build sessions. You would have the links shared with you when you register for the same. Then again, in the next slide, we have the link to M365 developer program. So please, again, don't forget to join the M365 developer program and join today to get your M365 E5 developer subscription, which you can use to create your own sandbox and develop solutions independent of your environment. Yep. So aka.ms/M365 dev program is the link. Cool. Yep. Yeah, so the next slide we have is a thank you one. So yep, we have reached the end of our discussion for today. I had a really great time. A lot of wonderful questions coming in. So thanks to all the, first of all, to all the folks from Teams platform joining from engineering and other areas, and taking up all the queries that came in from our wonderful audience today. Yep. So for those who asked questions, really amazing job. I hope we did justice to the questions that were asked, and the questions were definitely fantastic. Stay tuned. Don't forget to sign up for the M365 developer program. And yeah, take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.